Let's talk about Afro-Latinos, specifically Afro-Mexicans. Did you know that during the colonial era, Mexico and Peru received more enslaved Africans than the United States did during all of slavery? True story. Between the 15 and 1800s, of the nearly 12 million Africans that were taken and enslaved, only about 400,000 made it to the United States. The rest went to Brazil, the Caribbean, Mexico, and South America, in that order. Matter of fact, Mexico had the second highest population of enslaved Africans in the Americas. Brazil was number one. From the start, Spanish colonizers allowed the intermarriage of Spanish, indigenous, and African people, just like they did between the old and new Christians in Spain. The result was generations of mixed-race babies. In Spain, the concept of purity of blood, or limpieza de sangre, got its start when the Moors ruled Spain. It developed in Christian Spain to identify those without recent Jewish or Muslim heritage. Miscellaneous fact of the day. Did you know that Mexico, Central and South America has the largest percentage of Sephardic Jews outside of Israel? Don't believe me? Remember a little thing called the Spanish Inquisition from 1478 to 1834? What do you think happened to the Jews who weren't killed or converted to Christianity? Well, they were kicked out of Spain. Well, where do you think they went? They went to the new Spanish colony spawned by Christopher Columbus in 1492. Which is why some of my Latino cousins don't eat pork, light candles on Friday nights, and cover mirrors when mourning the dead. By 1810, Afro-Mexicans made up about 10% of the population. There was so much mixing and mingling going on that Spanish colonizers created a racial caste system called casta, which means lineage in Spanish and Portuguese. In colonial law, mixed-race castas were classified as part of the República de Españoles and not the República de Indios, which excluded Amerindians. The caste system included mestizos, mulattoes, and others. You can pause to read it if you like. Now, this system broke down in the late colonial period. You see, after independence, the legal notion of race was completely eliminated. Now, the term Afro-Mexican refers specifically to Mexicans who have noticeable West African ancestry. Unlike other Spanish-speaking countries with Afro-Latino populations, the history of Africans in Mexico was completely whitewashed due to racism, negrophobia, intermarriage with indigenous Mexican groups, and Mexico's tradition of defining itself as a mestizo country. Now, the word mestizo means mixed and is often considered mixed with Spanish and native Mexican, while the mixing of indigenous and Africans is almost always overlooked. After the Mexican Revolution, the creation of Mexico's national identity focused on Mexico's indigenous and European heritage, while erasing Africa's history and contribution from Mexico's national consciousness. Even though Mexico had the largest number of enslaved Africans in Central America, much of the Afro-Mexicans became absorbed into surrounding mestizo, mulatto, and indigenous populations through intermarriage and baby-making. In 1992, the Mexican government finally officially recognized African culture as being one of the three major influences on the culture of Mexico, along with Spanish and indigenous influences. And in 2015, Afro-Mexicans were recognized for the very first time when the Mexican government conducted its census, where about 1.4 million people self-identified as descendants of Africans, while about 3% of Mexico's population has a large percentage of African ancestry in their DNA. Today, most of the African communities live in coastal towns, like Veracruz on the Gulf of Mexico and the Costa Chica region on the Pacific. There's even a black belt that exists from Peru to Ecuador, just like America.